always remember when I did not understand how I used to stand under all the fool's rules running these lands. I had my head in the sand and I was asleep. Now I learn a little more every day, and I'm waking the sheep. Gonna say it out loud, say it proud, get it out, 'cause I'm burning inside, cannot hide it no more. I'm a raconteur too. Yeah, I'm a raconteur too. Oh, I'm a raconteur too. Oh, the people in the chat room singing. Oh, I'm a raconteur too. One more time now. Oh, I'm a raconteur too.
Good evening and welcome to Raconteurs News. It is Monday night. It's the 26th of February 2018. We're almost in March. Don't know where it's going. And of course, we're live on this Monday night with me, Jason-Holmes. I'm your presenter for this evening. Now, we had lined up Ole Damigard, but unfortunately, the part of the world that he's currently in, it would be about 2 a.m. now, and so he's not, and he's in a place where the internet is turned off at night time, so there is no internet, so it would have been impossible for us to do a live show at 7 o'clock. So we're going to sort something out, probably do a daytime show when it's daytime where he is, and stream it live in the usual way, but perhaps just do it a lot earlier, so that it's feasible for us to do and get people to ask questions in the chat room. But we don't despair, because we've got a great guest lined up for you this evening. He's not with us at the moment. He's I think we're currently trying to get him online. Andy, who's producing for me tonight, he's trying to work hard and get our guest on the line. He's from the Facebook page False Flag and Media Hoaxers. He's Jason Green, and as soon as he's online, we'll get him in. But how are you people anyway? We've got a new chat room, and people are using the new chat room and the old chat room as well. They're both there. The new chat room's going to be the one that's going to be sticking, I think. I'm in there. Super Leads, how you doing, mate? Jason Powers. Andy's in there as well. Just monitoring all the things that are said whilst we're in there. So really, we've just got a little bit of fill time. We are coming up on Snowmageddon, apparently. Snow is going to be dumped upon us tonight. And again, it's the beast from the east. It's the fucking Russians' fault. Of course it is. The Russians are now doing the weather as well as referendums and elections. They're interfering in all sorts of different things. So did you want my attention there, Andy?
No, I was just going to say I actually did a little video out the window because I was supposed to be somewhere today and I had to cancel because of the weather. And I've actually had more views on the Facebook video of about a minute out the window with kids playing snowballs than we usually get on a live show. So that just shows you how Facebook are restricting us, and if we post inconsequential shit, they'll happily share that. I'm sure if it got a kitten on it, there'd be millions of views by now.
Yeah, that's all you need, isn't it? A kitten. You could freeze a kitten, put a kitten in the freezer and freeze it, and then chuck it outside, and you'll get millions of death threats as well from people, because how people are really, when it comes to their pets, the more sensitive than they are when it comes to the relatives, I think, most of the time, which I think is something that's perhaps wrong with us.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And also it'll be an interesting experiment tonight, because it seems that anybody who talks about false flags, and one particular one which I doubt we're going to get through 2 hours without mentioning, does seem to get the YouTube channel shut down. So what do you reckon? What's the chances? Are we taking bets on it?
Well, I think the problem we've got is that, it seems to be a bit of a badge of honour to have your YouTube channel shut down. I know a certain Irish presenter of an independent radio show has had his YouTube channel removed completely, and also it seems Dan Bostock as well has had his removed, hasn't it?
Oh, was
Bostock's YouTube channel has been removed as well. So it's becoming a badge of honour. If you it's almost as if people are sort of saying you only get flack when you're over the target. But that's an old saying, and to be fair, I don't think that Dan Bostock and Richie Allen are that close to the target, and I don't think that you'd really want to, particularly Dan Bostock. I mean, he's just turned himself into a joke, and he got a load of followers on YouTube, and his YouTube channel got a lot of subscribers. I think he had 40,000 subscribers at one point, and then he just went all right wing and daft on us. So I don't know how that's going to work out for them, but. Yes, if you've got your YouTube channel and it's been shut down, it's a badge of honour. You are the greatest, and you're a threat to the establishment, which is bullshit, really. I mean, nobody really is a threat to the establishment, are they? Nobody is. The establishment. If anybody was a threat to the establishment would have gone.
Yeah, well, I did see something online earlier about CNN have been pushing like mad to get Alex Jones' channel shut down, but obviously Alex Jones is too much part of the system, so they're just shutting down random YouTube channels who might get a few hits. So I think that's maybe the way it's going.
And it seems Richie Allen, particularly on his YouTube, he's had a lot of trouble since he's distanced himself from David Icke. He seems to have got more and more trouble than what was there before. Because if you think about it, when he was associated with David Icke, that was the majority of the people that listened to him, and I would imagine the majority of people that listen to him still are the David Icke crowd. So I just can't work out what's. Do
you think
what's real and what's not?
Do you think he'll look back on that episode in his broadcast career and call it the golden years?
He probably will. I mean, I don't understand why he separated from David Icke, and it seemed to me from what I've read and seen that there was a little bit of animosity in it. I don't think he even told David Icke, did he himself? I think it was Gareth that he told. So I don't know. I don't know what's gone on there. To be fair, I don't really care. It's their thing, and we like doing our thing here, don't we? Here at Raconteurs News, and we've had a few good comments recently as well, haven't we? A few comments you pointed out to me on the YouTube site and things that I'd not seen, and I were quite touched by them.
Oh, have you got any of them handy to read out?
Catholic Church.
Have you got any of them handy to read out?
Do you know what? I don't.
No.
But there's a few on. Did you have a? Oh, here we go. Facebook Live has decided that we're not broadcast. Oh, we are again.
Radio.
And we're back on. So if you're watching on Facebook Live, hello, Facebook Live people. You're all on Facebook. No, have you got any?
I'm just getting it up now. Let's have a look. Community. We've got some cracking comments up there. We've got one from an interview way back in 2015, I think. Larry Warren interview. Somebody called Kipperbum is saying there's quite a few awkward moments in this. Well, that was back in the True Frequency days. I vaguely remember we tried to do a show with Larry with not mentioning the Rendlesham Forest incident, just talking about his life in general, the music, his involvement with the music business, and also his Bigfoot sighting. I don't particularly remember any awkward moments in it, but maybe it was some of the interjections that Tom made, because I know he could be a bit argumentative sometimes. Some of the other comments we've got and the risk of trotting out an old cliche, guns don't kill people, people kill people. That's from They Live 23, and that was on the preview when we were talking about the gun control. We've got Son of Overbrook as commenting, excellent guest on Barry Trower. That's another old one. Oh yes.
Do you know what? We've had one or two on, haven't we, on the Neil Sanders interview that we did a couple of weeks ago, and not all very complimentary. It seems that people are not very complimentary about the stance that Neil Sanders put on there. But there was one particular comment that I did see that was really balanced, and he said that he'd known Neil Sanders. He'd spoke to him before, he'd had communications with him, and he wouldn't be contacting him again after that show, after listening to that show, which I thought, I thought that people would probably be onto me, and, I thought people might be on at me or have a go, but it seems that many people felt that Neil had a difficult take on things, and they weren't really very impressed, and which is surprising.
Yeah, it looks like Jason's turned up, but we're having a trouble getting him into this call. So if I can just drop the call momentarily with you, I'll call Jason and then add you back in. So is that all right, Jason?
Mate, no worry.
All right, if you can just bear with us a second, folks. I'm just going to call Jason Green in, and then we'll try and call Jason. Right, here we go, it's ringing. Let's see if we can add our Jason in there. It's not answering. Oh dear. Right, we'll call Jason back then. Sorry about this, folks. The wonders of live radio. We just called Jason Green, and it's just cut him off with no answer.
There's someone that want us talking about this then, do they? It keeps cutting off on Facebook Live as well. It keeps trying to reconnect. So if you're watching on there, please bear with us. This is not our doing. I've got a reasonable internet connection. It is with Sky, so we know what they're like. So we're going to have Jason Green on. We're going to be talking about the shooting, the Florida shooting, and the anomalies on that. And we've got a little bit of audio as well, an interview with somebody who was a witness on a teacher from the scene who's been lauded on the internet, particularly on Facebook, as a hero for giving an interview and saying, just basically, as far as we know, if she's telling the truth, then it throws a huge amount of doubt upon this in Florida on Valentine's Day. Have we got Jason on?
Hey there, Jason? No, I've asked him to try and call me. Yeah, if you can hear us, Jason, try calling in, and we should be able to add you to the call. So, just waiting on Jason at the minute. Yeah, back to the comments on the YouTube channel. Let's have a look at some of them. We've got Pit K and Viking, the most recent comment on the Neil Sanders one. He says, not exactly too sure why everyone has their panties in a knot about Neil Sanders. He was asked his opinions, he gave them, and quite honestly, he makes solid points across the board. He made it clear that he respects the host's difference of opinion and apologised if he sounded like he came across as irritated. Fucking aye, it's actually refreshing to hear an interview that isn't an echo chamber. Well, you certainly don't do that, Jason. I might have been guilty of it the odd time, but I can certainly say you don't do that. There's other comments, some of them not quite so complimentary about Neil. There's somebody saying here that Dave Witcher, yeah, there's quite a stir over that one. Somebody going by the name of John Smith, I wonder if that's his real name, says Witcher is incorrect when he said treason carries the death penalty. It was repealed thanks to Jeffrey Archer and Tony Blair's government. Graham Moore is the leader of the White Pen Dragons, has a criminal record long as your arm, and he promotes Stephen Yaxley, aka Tommy Robinson, who is a subversive Zionist Jew puppet. Zionist Jews are the one behind the mass immigration into this country. So I can neither confirm nor deny the veracity of that statement, but it's a statement that I read out. It's not something that we're saying we endorse. No. You know, we values everybody's input. If you've got a comment to add to our YouTube channel, please add it. You know, we don't filter comments. Unless it's incredibly abusive or libelous, then you know, we let the comments stand and let people have their opinion. Also, I will say, if you think what we're putting out there is of value, you enjoy it, and you think it might be useful to your friends, please like it and share it on your social media, because that's how the word gets out. You know, we have got quite a small audience, and I'm sure everyone out there realises that Facebook and the like do restrict our reach. So if you could share it around, it might help. Oh, we got Wobbly Moobs in the chat. I bet I can guess who that is. Good evening, Heath.
Corned beef.
Yeah, that'll be Heath. Yeah,
it probably will be Wobbly Moobs, because well, it describes him to a T.
Well, Webby's put something in there, but I'm not going to read it out.
No, don't do that. Now we're getting in great trouble. Anyway, so I to Webby and Wobbly Moobs and Super Leads and Webby and all the people that are in the chat room. How are we going on? We trying to get Jason online. Shall we? Do you think it's time for us to just take a record and just see if we can fix this problem once and for all and get it sorted so that we can get back onto it?
Oh, hang on. He says his Skype hasn't updated. There's no contacts or history or anything in my app. Like I've never used it.
Right.
I'll give him my Skype and then he can add me.
Super. So we're going to have Jason Green on very, very soon. He runs the group False Flag and Media Hoaxers, and he's a Sheffield lad as well. So tonight's show is coming from Yorkshire, apart from Andy, who's out there in smelly Lincolnshire doing his little bit of production.
Snowy, smelly Lincolnshire. First time we've had a cover of snow in over a decade.
So how bad's the snow there? Is it bad, or is it?
Oh,
what you've got predicted? It's
horrendous, mate. If you were walking in flat-soled shoes, it'd be above your soles. If you got platforms, it might be halfway up your platforms. You know, we've got a good inch and a half here. It's quite serious.
So you'll be out on your platforms then later on, surely.
Mm.
When you're taking a bit out later on, you're going to have to go and, you know, you're going to have to wear your platforms, aren't you? But it just so happens you've just bought a new pair of platforms anyway, so everything works.
Oh, I was going to save them for my next public appearance. You're giving the game away now, man. Me pink feathery hat and me platforms.
But it's ridiculous, isn't it, this snow shit that we're getting, you know, this, it's going to be fucking horrendous. It's just going to... There won't be very much. You know there won't be very much, but it'll just bring everything to a standstill. Down south, they were told, get home before 6 o'clock or you're going to die! Everyone's got to get home before 6 o'clock before Snowmageddon fucking turns out.
Oh, yeah, we're having a snow... We're having a snow curfew, aren't we? Yeah. It's like I said to somebody the other day, don't worry, it's just the farmer trying to make the pen a little bit smaller so he can actually make a living.
Yeah. Wobbly Moobs, a.k.a. Heath, has popped in the chat room, get your blocker boots out, Jason. I don't know if anybody remembers them, but I did play that advert on Raconteurs News one time. It was something from years ago. Blocker boots, blocker boots.
Oh, I don't remember that.
Oh, yeah, do a blocker boots. So I should get my blocker boots out, shouldn't I, Heath? Oh, dear me. Oh, like bills of exchange, anybody, says Webby.
Yeah.
Shall we get on that? We're going to get him in or what?
I don't know. I don't know what's happening with Jason. He said he'd try and add me. I'll try and get him.
This is what you call cutting edge live radio, ladies and gentlemen. We are struggling to get our guest on. The miracle of Skype seems to not be working, but then again, it's probably because the signal's having to go all the way over to Lincolnshire and then all the way back over to near where I am, to Sheffield, where Jason is. So Jason's going to be joining us. I hope anyway soon. Otherwise, we're not going to have a show, dude. No, we're not going to have a show. We're just going to have to sit here talking shit only. And you know me, I can't do that.
Really?
No chance.
Jason Green sent me a request. Accept.
There we go.
There we go. That should have him on. Okay, so we're calling...
Yeah, Eve's just put Blocker Boots. You'll only remember it if you wagged it off school. Because it was on one of them daytime educational TV programmes back in the 80s.
Right.
Yeah. At last, done it.
Oh, hi, Jason. Glad you can make it, mate. It looks like Skype's been messing you about, fella, but good to have you along. Been an interesting week or two, hasn't it?
It sure has, yeah. Sorry about that. I think I've not used Skype since I last spoke to you, and I think it's not updated because I've not got enough memory in my phone. So anyway, it seems to be up and running now. So yeah, thanks for having me on. And yeah, it has been an interesting week. It's been a bit quiet, hasn't it, since I think the last one were Mandalay Bay shooting. And
well,
not much has happened since then, has it?
That's right. It's unfortunate tonight with the mess up in the time zones that Ola Damagard can't join us because when we posted the event on Facebook, we used a little montage that Ole had put together showing the clues that he'd used to predict this event out of the aftermath of the Vegas shooting. And he's now saying that he's making certain predictions from this one. Have you had a chance to have a look at that, Jason?
I've only what you sent me. Yeah, I've not had a look at anything else. But yeah, he has predicted stuff in the past, hasn't he? Yeah, I think the Westminster Bridge thing he predicted from another event previous to that. But yeah, he seems good at that.
Yeah, we did get one comment on... Oh, yes, we got a comment on YouTube from Papa Bear on the preview show. He said, I'm gonna slightly edit this because it's a little bit disparaging about Ole. He said, I can't wait for Ole, insert your own comment here, Damagard, to be put in his place by a no-nonsense Yorkshireman. Don't let him get away with claiming he predicted Florida months ago. Make the fucker prove it. So, unfortunately, Ole's not here tonight. We're going to rebook him as soon as we can. Hopefully when he's not on a small island that has the internet cut off at midnight or whatever. And we'll be able to get him to prove that. But I'll just read out what he sent me. Where is it here? Oh, I sent it over to you today, didn't I, Jason?
Yeah.
Where is it? Yeah. Please be aware of the hidden clues in the latest Florida shooting, pointing towards Dallas, Texas, March 18th. The Majestic Theatre on Elm Street, same street where JFK was assassinated. That, or Houston on March the 4th. Both locations are preparing for drills. In Dallas, the Parkland Hospital will be involved where JFK was taken after the shooting. So it'll be very interesting. We won't have long to wait to see whether that prediction comes true.
Yeah, I think I'm away. March 18th, did you say? Yeah. I think I'll be up in the Highlands of Scotland there, probably away from Skype reach and all that. So I'll have to look into that when I get back.
Oh, nice. Well, March the 4th if it happens in Houston. So will you be about for that one?
Yeah.
Well, I think we're getting a bit ahead of ourselves. Jason, why don't you describe to us this Florida shooting and what's wrong with it and what are the clues that are there? I think this one has got quite close to ordinary people. I'm not talking about idiots, morons like you, me, and Andy, who look into these things. I'm talking about your everyday person. Is now you're starting to see memes saying, "I've been alive on this planet for 35 years, and now I discover there's something called the crisis actor." So what's gone down here? Just give us a rundown of the actual incident itself, and what has been found to be wrong with it.
Yeah, well, as usual, it broke on the news, didn't it? And my first instinct is it's going to be another false flag event or whatever. And I suppose the first real thing what made me, well, I question it anyway, but the first bit of evidence pointing to it being a false flag, where there was a drill. Undoubtedly, there was a drill going off. Some are saying it was just a fire drill, but one of the first things I saw was a girl talking to the media, and she said she was told they were planning to use blanks in the drill, but they didn't. So it was obviously more than a fire drill. It was an active shooter drill they had planned. It must have been. She also said that the teacher had been shot in the arm and walked home, which was a bit strange. But Andy sent me some information which today about this woman who's appeared in media. I'm assuming it must be the same teacher because she claims she was grazed by a bullet. And but she said she'd seen a shooter wearing like armoured gear and thought it was a policeman, possibly. So that's strange. That's thrown things a bit up in the air. So yeah, and so we've got this guy Cruz who's apparently done the shooting, but again, this same girl who said she was told they were going to be using blanks in the drill, she said she'd seen, or she was aware there was 3 shooters in the building, which is, again, it's like a common theme, isn't it? Multiple shooters. Yeah.
We've got a clip, we got a clip of that teacher that was supposedly grazed by giving that interview. I think it's very interesting. I think we can play that, can't we, Andy?
I've got that interview. I can play it right now. So if we can just keep quiet while I'm playing it, because our mics will still be live. So I'll play that now, if that's all right with you guys.
Yep.
Filed into the hallway, she heard gunfire. The killing had begun.
I was about 2 feet away from my door. All of a sudden, I heard gunshots in the stairwell, which is about 20 feet away from my room. And then kids were screaming and then running back towards me and towards the end of the hallway. So I just went in this very strange autopilot mode where I pivoted on my feet. I unlocked my door, and then kids just started pouring in my room. I don't know how many kids were in there, but I was pulling them and getting them in and shouting at them to get in the room. And then I suddenly saw the shooter about 20 feet from me, standing at the end of the hallway, actively shooting down the hallway, just a barrage of bullets. And I'm staring at him thinking, why is the police here? This is strange, because he's in full metal garb, helmet, face mask, bulletproof armor, shooting this rifle that I've never seen before. I don't know when I decided it was the right time to close the door. I grabbed the handle with both hands, and that's when I got nicked, or grazed, or whatever you call it.
A bullet hit
And
your
that's
arm.
when I got nicked. As I'm closing my door, I'm shouting at my next door neighbor, Mr. Scott Beagle, to close his door. And he's the kind of man that would just keep that door open a little longer. You know, he's all about the kids, you know, but he couldn't see the shooter. I had a good visual of him, which is why I yelled at him to shut his door now.
35-year-old teacher Scott Beagle among the 17 murdered on Marjorie Stoneman Douglas's campus.
I heard him shoot a barrage of bullets into Mr. Beagle's room. And then he came to my room and shot about 4 or 5 shots into my room, breaking the glass of my door. There's a rectangular piece of glass.
Oh, I'm going to stop that there, Jason, because somebody else is playing it and it's feeding back dreadfully. It's squealing down Skype at me, so I'm hoping that's not going out on air. Probably is.
Yeah, well, I was listening as well. It were squealing a bit, weren't it? But essentially what she was saying was that there was a shooter, and the shooter, she claims that the guy that they actually got for the shooting, he was near her. She could see him, and she also said that the actual shooter was somebody that was dressed in all sorts of combat gear. armed stuff. They're obviously there to be a shooter.
Well,
but it wasn't the guy that they arrested.
There was an interesting phrase in what she said, which I thought was quite curious. She said, he was shooting a gun of a type I've never seen before. Well, I would think most people have seen an AR-15 before, haven't they?
Yeah, I thought it strange that she'd be taking that much notice. There's this guy shooting at her, and she said she was... I've got a quote up here on an article. It says, I suddenly saw the shooter about 20 feet in front of me, standing at the end of the hallway, actively shooting down the hallway, just a barrage of bullets, and I'm staring at him thinking, why are the police here? This is strange because he's in full metal garb, helmet, face mask, bulletproof armour, shooting this rifle that I've never seen before. So Lippel told Good Morning America. So, yeah, it's just a bit bizarre. I mean, as usual, in my mind, I was thinking it's one of these things where nobody's got killed. It's all, a fake. But then a story comes up and it kind of throws a spanner in the works of what I was thinking, because she seems to confirm there was a shooter. You know what I mean? And it's all like smoke and mirrors. So I really don't know what to make of this one, to be honest.
What do you make of the kids that seem to have come to prominence after this? That David, what was it? David Hogg or something?
Yeah,
There's a couple of females as well, isn't there, that have seemed to have risen to prominence and become anti-gun campaigners. And there were reports that he didn't even attend that school. And there were just reports. I don't know whether the veracity of them are, whether they were true or not. And somebody had posted a yearbook picture of him from another school. So that all seems weird, doesn't it?
Yeah, I'm not sure. There seems to be, as usual, some disinformation thrown out there, because I'd seen he had done about a year ago, it appeared in some news, doing an interview, and I know I kept seeing like memes and things saying that he'd been involved in another shooting about a year ago, but it weren't a shooting. It was an altercation between a lifeguard and a body surfer or something. I don't know the details, but it weren't a shooting. So then people say, it's been debunked that, he's a crisis actor, and, people use that sort of to undermine that. But it's just bizarre that he has, after all millions of people in America, that he's done an interview before. He's like he's a media student, isn't he? Because I've seen like the excuses people have given. They've said, well, he's a media student. He's a natural choice for him to do interviews and stuff like that. But then, have you seen that one where he seems to be giving an interview about gun control hours before this shooting happened, and they claim to be hiding from the shooter? Have you seen that one?
I've seen that one, Jason. If I could just ask you, just sit back a little bit from your mic, because you're just over-modulating a bit, and we're getting reports of dodgy sound from the chat room, so thanks, mate. But yeah, he seems an odd one, that Hogg, and I watched a video that he made supposedly in a store cupboard while the shooting was going on, and it really didn't look like a bunch of teenagers who were in a store cupboard while someone was rampaging with an automatic weapon, to me. But that's just me, eh?
Yeah, and his states at times being something like 9:30 in the morning. Well, it doesn't say in the morning. It says it's 9:30, which would make it a few hours before the shooting took place as well. So there must have been during this drill that you were doing this interview. It all seems like a school project. Well, they decided, somebody's clicked the things and said, right, it was real. Because it gets me wondering, is there some sort of Derren Brown style mind control going on? Like some hypnosis thing where they're getting involved in this drill, and then somebody says it was real, and they all believe it. They actually believe they were involved in a real incident.
Interesting idea, that. Yeah, I've not actually thought of that. And that well, that to me is interesting because I was reading some article about MK Ultra and mind control Manchurian candidates and all that sort of thing, and going back to Darren Brown and where he got someone to shoot Stephen Fry. Now I was
it's done something good.
Yeah, but sadly it weren't real. But I wasn't aware, or I seem to have forgotten if I was aware, that he actually made that show because he didn't believe it was possible to mind control someone to act in that way and then forget all about it afterwards, yet the show actually proved that it was. So what sort of a mind manipulation exercise was the Darren Brown show, I thought?
Yeah, because have you ever seen, going back to 9/11, you know Lloyd England? He was a taxi driver, and
yes,
apparently a light pole got clipped and collapsed and fell on his taxi cab.
Yeah, right.
And,
but his wife worked for the FBI, didn't she?
Yeah, which was interesting. But he also mentioned that previous to this, it was pointed out we had a book by David Icke on his seat in the taxi, and he said that he'd been going to some sort of lessons or classes to do with conspiracies where he learned about Diana, the Diana, car crash being a murder and stuff like that. So I wonder if he'd been attending these classes and at some point he's, had it suggested to him, and had these sort of memories planted in, and then somebody clicks the fingers and he thinks he has been involved in this thing,
All right. I wonder if those classes were run by Chris Spivey.
Yeah, possibly.
That's the Pentagon attack, isn't it? That Lloyd England was involved in. The light pole came down, and they tried to say that because the light poles just fell down, didn't it? It was like they'd been hit. Whereas that if a plane hits a light pole at the velocity that it's going, and with a wing that's full of fuel, it's just going to disintegrate and explode everywhere. Whereas this didn't. We're supposed to believe that these light poles were just knocked down onto the floor, and then the plane crashed into the side of the Pentagon.
Well, there was also the interesting bit about how they removed the light pole, which apparently had gone through the front windshield of the car and was embedded in the back seat of the car. And when asked how he removed it, apparently this mysterious stranger showed up who never spoke a single word to him, and the two of them between them got this 40-foot light pole out of the car. Well, if them 40-foot light poles are made out of steel like the ones I know, two on you ain't going to lift one of them and move it out of a car that it's been speared into, are they?
No, they examined the taxi. It's still got the taxi, hasn't he? I know the guys who were investigating it kept going to speak to him. And he says, I've still got the taxi. And they went and looked at it, and there wasn't a scratch in the paintwork. There were a hole in the window and damage to the seat.
That's right.
But there was scratches on the paintwork. So that
What
story,
became of Lloyd England? Didn't he end up throwing a 7?
I'm not sure. Yeah, I don't know.
I'm pretty sure that I think something happened to him at some point in the early days, Lloyd England, or perhaps that's Barry Jenkins I'm thinking of. Perhaps
Barry
were in World Trade Center 7, weren't he? And then came out and said, "Look, I was climbing over bodies well before the building collapsed. There were bodies everywhere in World Trade Center 7. Then the building collapsed. So perhaps that's who I'm thinking of."
Yeah, it could be. As far as I know, Lloyd England, I've not heard of anything happening to him, but I don't know, possibly. But yeah, so I know it sounds a bit of a stretch, but, we do know these MK Ultra experiments and what have you have happened, and we do know, well, unless Darren Brown, whoever all his programs are fake, it does seem that some people do have the power to control crowds and, put, the power of suggestion. And that's one way I can think of. Maybe they can get all these people involved, and maybe I do think it actually happened.
So you're of the opinion that it actually happened and people died? Because I know that there are. I'm not offering a suggestion myself, but I know there are people that will say that nobody died and it were all a hoax and everything and all this. But what you're saying is you think people died. You're not.
No, I don't. I think
the official narrative of what happened.
I'm still on the line. I don't think that anybody did die. I suppose essentially that's what I think. I think it were all. I think they did a drill, and I don't know how they do it. I wished I did, because they're really good at what they do. But I just can't believe anybody was killed, because if they've killed 17 students in cold-blooded murder, how do they get all these people, involved and doing it? That's the big question for me. For one, the people pull the trigger, and then all these students,
It's a difficult question, isn't it? And but it's we
I
know
think
that
it's just more believable, but they'd fake it.
I agree. I think that I'm not saying I agree on this particular instance. I'm saying I agree that it is a lot easier to fake it, because then you don't have to deal with families who have lost loved ones and who are going to be asking questions. We know that the 9/11, the Jersey girls, they caused quite a kerfuffle, and then when people started to wanting 9/11 truth, it had to be suppressed, and it is difficult. So I would imagine the easier option is to fake it completely. We know Sandy Hook was faked completely. I mean that's I think been proven time and time again that Sandy Hook has been that Sandy Hook was faked. This one I haven't looked at in very much detail at all, because I got you and Oli Damigon coming on, so I wanted to sort of not taint my own vision of it, but it does to me look easier. It does to me seem easier and less messy if they just fake it completely.
Yeah, that seems to makes more sense to me to fake it, and then. But even then, if you're faking it, how do you get all these people to keep quiet? Because all these months and years pass by, and well, I'm saying nobody speaks up, but who would they speak up to? You can't go to the authorities to speak up, can you? Because who would you trust in that position? You can't go to the media and speak to them, because they're all controlled, aren't they? So,
what do you? I mean, what would happen if? Let's face it. If you find yourself involved in one of these things, and you might find yourself involved for any number of reasons, you think it's a drill, and it turns out it's not a drill. It ends up like they're saying it's not a drill. They do the little parts and everything, but how do they then, as an individual, if they have been involved in something that is completely hoodwinking the public, why are they going to come forward? They're not going to say, I was part of it. This you were lied to about everything, and I was part of it. The people are not really wanting to. And how most of the people that are there when they're doing the drill, all the people, they don't need to know that it's actually all being faked. They just play their part, and they do what they think. It's a drill. It's a drill that's ended up going live, which is easy to. It's easy to say to somebody, this drill went live, and now it's real. All these people that you're seeing on the floor, they're not actors; they're actually really dead. So there doesn't have to be that many people in the know. It just has to be people involved in it. And like you said, with the mind control thing, the mind control. Techniques that are being employed throughout history, MK Ultra, all these different things, it shouldn't be too difficult to just get somebody to just shut up about it, and perhaps actually make them believe that it was actually a real event.
Yeah, that is, it sort of came to me that last night, really. That's one way they could do it, and it would answer a lot of questions, what, I have about it personally. So maybe that's it. I don't know.
They seem to have gone too far this time because people are seeing it, aren't they? People that you wouldn't imagine to see.
Yeah. I mean, going on that group I run, False Flags and Media Hoaxes, there's been quite a massive amount of people joined up since that event, and it does seem, to have sparked off interest in media hoaxes and what have you. There's, far more than any other event, a sudden burst of people joining.
Which is interesting. It means that people are looking at things. Andy, you look like you're just about to say something.
Yeah, I was just about to say, I've posted the link for that Lloyd England documentary on your Facebook Live video feed, and it's been marked as spam, so if you want to unspam that, I've also posted it in the chat room on the website as well. And we've got a busy old chat room tonight. Dinny's just showed up. He's been sat in the old chat room talking to himself for a while, but so welcome along, Dinny No Mates. I'm just going to post the link for Jason's Facebook group as well. So for all of you who got Facebook, I've posted the link to Jason's False Flag and Media Hoaxes page in our chat room. And then I'll paste it on yours, and it'll get spammed again, Jason. I think they just put it as spam when you put a link in the live chat. Yeah, it's marked as spam. Review the comment.
Well, it's coming up.
Oh, right.
Is that the one titled Virtual Confession, something like that? Lloyd England Virtual Confession. I think that's like a snippet actually out of the bigger video, where he does seem to admit that he were playing a part in it. As it says, it's a virtual confession. It says something like, "This isn't for little people like me. This is the big business guys. It's for the money men. I wasn't supposed to be in this."
That's right. Yeah, it was very curious the way he said that, wasn't it?
Yeah, it's like he was trying to admit it, but he was aware he was involved in something, but still, he seemed to think it was real at the same time. So, again, that makes me wonder whether it's some sort of mind control, where although he's faced with the evidence that it can't be real, he's still in his mind it was real.
Well, we do. I mean, it's going back in time, isn't it? Some harking back to 17 years since 9/11.
Yeah.
So these things that we keep bringing up, and we've done it quite a few times in recent weeks, where we've sort of talked about different things that you might have forgotten about about 9/11, like Barry England, or people who have come to come to 9/11 later, because they're not old enough and they weren't researching it at the time. But these little snippets of different people's names, like Barry Jenkins and Robert England and Harley Guy. I mean, check out Harley Guy. I watched the video the other day, and somebody, I don't know if you remember Harley Guy, but the Harley Guy was the guy who was interviewed on the street, and he was like, he'd got an Harley Davidson T-shirt on, and he was saying, I saw the whole thing, the plane crashed into it, and then the other plane crashed into it, and then the buildings fell, mostly due to structural failure. Just a ridiculous thing for somebody who's just witnessed something to say.
Yeah, which information, weren't it?
He were in something else as well. I'm sure he was in one of the Boston ones.
Yeah.
Boston.
I think it turned out he'd been in an advert or something like that. Anyway, an actor of some sort, and as people saying it was a coincidence just because he's been in an advert, doesn't mean, he's lying about what he's seen on 9/11 kind of thing. But it's a bit like that Hogg guy again. It's a bit suspicious, isn't it? Well, more than a bit suspicious.
No, he's what's the latest story on him? Because he was everywhere, wasn't he? And everyone was sort of looking into his background and trying to find out, well, what's the latest story on him? Is he the official one?
Just a minute. Harley guy and this latest guy who's turned up and looks a bit suspicious, what he's saying, what he's doing, his background. His name's Hogg.
Yeah.
Surely most folks are aware that the nickname for a Harley Davidson is a Hogg. So, connection there possibly? I don't know.
Oh, who knows, yeah. Because, it's definitely, I don't know. Because, again, I think you've mentioned it already, haven't you, that his father's FBI. Lloyd England's wife was FBI. There's all these little things in there. So, there's that, I don't think we've mentioned yet about another story within this shooting story at the school. About there was a guard. I've read that there was actually 4 guards. I think that's disinformation again. There was at least one guard in the school, armed guard, who failed to go in during the shooting, and I think he's resigned actually. Yeah. But he said he decided not to go into the school. And it's been put forward, and there's a common argument in on that Facebook page earlier that most pro-gun people say the best way to stop a bad guy with a gun is a good guy with a gun. But now this story's broke, they were saying, well, he was a good guy with a gun and it still didn't, stop the bad guy with the gun. So the only solution is to ban all guns kind of thing. I think that's why that story's been created.
Well, I saw a story when I was having a quick look round at this when I thought, well, Ole's not turned up, so it's going to be Jason and Jason. I might as well join in and split the Jasons. And I saw a story of a school shooting where there was a female janitor, I think it was, and she was armed. And she managed to... she stood up to this guy with a gun. He was a shooter in a school. The guy ended up being shot dead. She didn't run away and hide, and she wasn't even a guard. So it strikes me as a bit odd that somebody who's employed as an armed guard at a school decides, oh, when somebody's there with a gun, I better run away and fucking hide.
Yeah.
No, it's difficult knowing what you do in a situation when somebody's running around indiscriminately firing off an automatic weapon, yes. But if your reason for being there is to be that armed presence that keeps the children safe, then surely you've got to be the sort of person who's going to act on it rather than just run away and hide. Else they'd be doing sort of psychometric testing to find out whether you are that sort of guy before they give you the job, wouldn't they?
Yeah, I like to think so. Yeah, which it makes me wonder whether that story's just been completely fabricated to, argue against that point that people make about having a good guy with a gun, is the solution. They'll be like, no, as I've just said, it'll be used as an argument against that now. And then, apart from gun control, there's another thing I've noticed that talks about wanting to hospitalise people showing signs of, like this cruise guy apparently has put things online about, showing signs of being mentally unstable. They want him to be able to hospitalise people for what they put on social media, which... it might start with people like him talking about shooting schools up and stuff, but we've already seen, and I've mentioned it before, about like Cameron and Obama spoke in the past about conspiracy theorists being as bad as terrorists,
Oh, yeah.
So are we going to see it, where talked about conspiracy theories and not believing official stories is going to make us mentally unstable and could see us put in hospital, secure units and stuff like that, because we're being deemed as terrorists or whatever.
Well, I loved when Cameron made that statement about anyone who believes that 7/7 was a conspiracy or 9/11 was done by whoever is as bad as the terrorists. I thought Nick Colostrum made a brilliant move there. He went down to Paddington Green Police Station and handed himself in. He said, "I'm a terrorist," and they basically didn't want to know him. Told him to bugger off.
Yeah,
but
yeah, it's quite scary to think that that's what they're doing. So,
Did you? I just want to, before we go on, we're nearly at an hour, but before we go on our break, and we have a little a Yorkshire-style breaks for a cup of tea and a joint, and some flat caps and some whippets and that sort of thing. What do you make? Did you hear about the? It was interesting who the school in Florida was named after. Did you hear that one?
No, I can't.
It was named after a woman from Florida who, back in the day, I don't know when. I got no information on chronology, but the story was she was a campaigner against companies or industry using swamp water. So she was against draining the swamp.
yes.
All right. Yeah.
Which is an interesting fact. So I don't know if you know what you know about that.
It's almost like
it's there all the way in it.
It's almost like there's programming elements coming from all directions of this story, isn't it?
That's right. And the Super Leaders just put in a chat room, which is a great point as well, which some I'd forgotten. But the police chief's surname was Israel. And at the time, some of the class, the students said that they were in Holocaust class.
Yeah.
Fuck knows why there's Holocaust class. Why is there an Holocaust class?
Just so they know that it's real. Not to believe lunatics like us who perhaps want to question the veracity of certain statements that have been made on that. We're on the hour now, so shall we go into our musical interlude?
I think we should, Andy, yes.
Yeah,
what you going to grace us with this time?
Well, we've got a song for, being as we're typical tough northerners, we've got a song for all the southerners who are listening in, and then we've got a special for Super Leads to follow that, and we'll be about 8 minutes, so enjoy, folks.
Welcome back to Raconteurs News. It is Monday night, 26th of February, and we were due to have Ollie Damagard here with us tonight, but unfortunately he's on an island in the southeast of Asia, miles and miles away. It's about 3 o'clock in the morning where he is now, so and they don't have internet over the night time, so the internet's cut over the night time. So it's just... Well, it's myself, Andy Young is with me, and Jason Green from False Flags and Media Hoaxers on Facebook. I just want to say one thing first of all before we get back into what we were talking about. I'd like to say a big thank you to everyone that's sent me messages and saying get well soon. It really means a lot. It really does mean a lot, and it's very touching as well. So. Thank you to everyone that's done that. I am on the mend. I had an MRI scan last week on Thursday, and to be fair, the last time I'd had a really bad reaction to the dye, and I realised they were going to put dye in me again. So I did shit myself somewhat chronic. And anyone who's had an MRI scan will know it's like being in a dead noisy coffin. And thanks to everybody. Thanks for all your messages. It really does mean a lot to me. I do read it and see every single one. So anyway, guys, welcome back, Andy, and welcome back, Jason.
Thanks, mate.
Hello. Yeah, before break, you mentioned that the girl who was in the Holocaust class when the shooter started shooting at him. It reminded me that she said that she'd used a book to deflect some of the bullets. So, which is quite, a story, isn't it? So
yeah, she did, didn't she? That's incredible, that, isn't it? It was that was something that was incredible, that she'd used some books and it had stopped the bullets. I mean, an AR-15. Are you sure?
Yeah, she said,
books. What were it? War and Peace. What it? War and Peace and Neil Sanders' latest book, back to back. Because that's the only thing I can think of that stop an AR-15 bullet.
Yeah, unless they were covered in the same stuff that make terrorist passports, because they seem to survive just about anything as well, don't they? But yeah, she said there was a small book and it deflected some of the bullets. So, how that worked, I don't know.
Well,
and she claimed she'd been hit by the bullets, but it wasn't so bad because she had this book in her hand somehow, which... Yeah, it's just such a bizarre story, and people believe it. And again, it's like she believed it herself. And again, I can only think that it's some sort of mind control thing going on there. She's transferred for a lot of that. I think that's going to be my new thing now. I think with mind control, everyone's hypnotised. Which it's like, isn't it? It's like the whole nation's hypnotised by this story. They believe it all. Just about, anyway.
Well, of course they are. I mean, you've only got to look at this Snowmageddon thing that's going on at the moment. We're apparently going to be dumped on a ton of snow. How many times? And God love him, Webby is always the one posting these stories on Facebook about how much it's going to snow, and we've got this Siberian winter coming in, and it's all people just seem to go nuts on one thing, and it's almost as if this weather event is a diversion away from what is really going on.
Well, yeah, but there's something
and then she said, I can't remember what it were now, but there hardly any bread, and it's because apparently everyone were panic buying because of this beast from the east. A lot of moving it,
Yeah, I can.
Stupid, isn't it?
I can see how ridiculous some of these headlines are. Well, in fact, all of them are. But I was having a wee chat with a friend about an hour ago, and she pointed out something to me which it had come across my mind earlier in the day. We haven't had extreme weather in this country for at least a decade, really, have we? We haven't had a real kelching of snow and 6 foot in the Midlands for more or less 20 years. So what has happened in that time is we now have an awful lot of people who've got no homes. And they're sleeping in shop doorways, park benches, under bridges, sheds, wherever they can get their head down. And it is unfortunate that a lot of those people are going to die. And they're going to die because they're not, they've got nowhere to go when it gets into the minus temperatures. And that, to me, it's not a shame, it's an absolute fucking scandal. And there's peasants those peasants that are running the country need to be dragged out and told, right, we've had enough of you lot, fuck off, we'll run the show ourselves.
Yeah. It's all right.
Can't disagree with that at all, Andy. You're right. It's a disgrace that we are the fifth richest economy on the planet, I think, or perhaps sixth. I think India overtook us not long ago. So I think we're probably the sixth now. But there are people in this country that are having to sleep out rough on nights where it's going to get to like -6 in places. Tonight and tomorrow, and it's an absolute disgrace. Like you say, we need to go down. We've been far too fucking passive, far too long. We need to demand. If they won't come out, get them out, drag them out.
Mentally unstable now. You need to go to the hospital. That's what's going to be happening.
Well, take me to hospital then, because I'm going to get more sense there on. I talking to other people that have been rounded up that want to, because they can't round us all up. We can't all be in hospital. So if we demanded it, if we really demanded it, it's like people say with in Romania with Ceausescu, it went from one day. Everything everything was normal. Everything was like how it had been, and then the next day, the old Ceausescu family are swinging from lampposts. That's what it's going to take. I'm afraid that's what it's going to take, because we can't have these. What do you do? You get these pieces of crap. And then what you do is you get sycophantic fucking knobheads roided up that'll protect them with guns and being in members of police force and army and all this sort of shit. And that's how they get away with it. And we should just, if we all fucking pull together, if we all realise we're all in it together, all the people, even the people that are there and that are sycophantic and that are just doing the bidding for these people to protect them. It's over in a minute. Done. Get rid of it. Don't have to be any violence. Just get rid of him. Go. Fuck off.
Yeah. We don't need him.
We keep allowing him to do these sort of things to us. We've talked. How many times we talked on shows like this about false flag? Even if these events are really happening and really taking place, they're being used by these things that we seem to have got running the show. It's not hard, they're not. It's not like it's not like we've got the hardest kid in the school running it. We've got the little wimpy weedy kid that's like ripping you off, and he's surrounded himself with all bullies. We get rid of bullies, we get rid of wimpy kid. That's it, we're done.
Yeah. Yeah, what's stopping us?
Yeah, that is what's stopping us. We've got stuff going on in the chat room as well. Denny's in there. He says it's minus. What did he say? -6 where he is at the moment. Something like that. It's pretty cold there over in Germany. Super Leeds. What would have happened if all those football hooligans turned nasty? How many cops in the Met? 42,000. So I think he's talking about when the football lads went down to protest in London. There wasn't very much media coverage of it, but they did go down there, and whilst well, whatever your opinions are, then football lads getting together and different firms just so to meet up because they were sick of the terrorism and that sort of thing. And again, they might not know what they're protesting, but they're actually protesting their own government. You know, and so that's what if you're protesting terrorism, you're protesting your own government, and that's what they were doing. And I've got to hold my hands up and say, good on them going down there. It's getting to that point where we need people who are going to do something. It's all right having loads of people down there doing a protest that doesn't get any coverage, and everybody who's in the protest is peaceful and non-confrontation. It just don't get anywhere. We're just begging for things that we're never going to get. You know, you're begging for the BBC to cover it.
Yeah, right. That's going to happen.
If they don't, it didn't happen. Essentially, so you know what? I've just failed to understand what the point is.
Yeah, we're all sort of divided as well, aren't we? I suppose that's by design as well. We've all got our own ideas going off, and you see that much arguing online about people's different opinions, and we're all fighting each other, and we're not distracted out from what the real problems are.
Absolutely right. We're divided in every single way. And if you look as well, it's becoming more and more ridiculous. Like, I think I saw a news story from America where they do wrestling in school, and a transgender male who was a bloke anyway that thinks he's a bird, right? So a bloke that thinks he's a bird who's doing this transgender thing has just won the women's wrestling for the second year in a row.
No shit.
Now, why do you think he's winning the women's wrestling?
Because he's a bloke.
Because he's a bloke. Can you see how ridiculous it is? But that's what we're having. Because you know what it does? It makes everybody feel like a victim. Every single person feels like a victim. The transgender person feels like they're a victim because they're being told that they're being discriminated against, and that that people don't like what they're doing. And then you get the people that have got, like me, right? I've got no interest in anybody transgender. I've got no interest. I couldn't give a fuck. Couldn't care less. But the implication is it's rammed down my throat. So if I'm like just a normal bloke and I'm having this stuff rammed down my throat, that's what I feel like I'm a victim of. I feel like I'm a victim of the propaganda. Why do I need to know about transgender issues? I don't. It's nothing to do with me. I ain't got a fucking clue. It's nothing to do with me. But it's rammed down your throat. It's there in the mainstream. It's there on the agenda. It's been taught to your children as well. And we had Neil Sanders on last week, and he was sort of trying to make this point. Oh well, what does it matter? What does it matter? And I think, well, you're right. What does it matter? It doesn't matter that there are transgender people in the world, and if anyone's discriminating against them, then I'm on their side of the people being discriminated against. But I don't need to know about it. It's not relevant to me. This is what people do: is they get into arguments about issues that aren't relevant to them, and that's what we've got online, and that's the narcissistic element of we've got with social media, because people they don't want to move away. If they've got an argument, they get an argument with somebody. How many times have you been in an argument with somebody on social media, or has anybody been in an argument with somebody on social media and then they've gone, actually, you've got a point? They don't. They'll defend their fucking side just simply because it's the opinion that they want. They want that opinion. But we're so divided by it, and we're so narcissistic that we think that, for fuck's sake.
Yeah,
the amount of people posting fucking dinner on Facebook, for Jesus fucking Christ.
Well,
food.
Tell you what I've noticed as well, Jason. There's another one that's coming on there, another agenda that is being rammed down people's throats, and it seems to be everywhere you look nowadays, and that's I call them militant vegans. You know, if you eat animal flesh or wear animal skin or anything like that, you're less of a human being than they are. And they're getting very militant. Everybody's scum if they eat meat or if they have animal products in their diet or they wear them or anything like that. And that's all very well. But you say you love these animals such as cows and sheep and what have you, but if they're not bred for eating, they ain't going to be bred at all. You might see a few in zoos and safari parks, but by and large, they aren't going to be wandering about in the countryside because folks will be trying to grow crops. And the last thing they want them doing is trampling down with cows, sheep, pigs, and all them sort of animals, so that they'll just be gone. There'll be a distant memory. Unfortunately, they're domesticated species, but we haven't got any wild ones left in this country, so we'll have a pretty desolate landscape, I would say. It does seem that all forms of social media are being used for this divide and conquer thing. It's like I was saying to Jason when we was having a chat the other day about this Florida school shooting, and it just seems to me like the evidence that it's not really what we're told is far too in your face. It's almost like we're being lured into this trap to say, obviously it's not what we're told it is, but you can all argue about gun control, because that is one issue that will divide everybody down the middle. There's very few people who are going to sit on the fence and say, well, guns, I don't mind either way. You're either pro-gun or you're anti-gun. And that is an excellent way of dividing any group or groups that are working towards some sort of improvement in this world for the common man and woman, and man, male or female, as I've been taught to say by Max Stuteley. But it's not real. It don't mean fuck all to the normal man. You know, gun control. Yeah. I rue the day that we were all conned by the what was it? There was Dunblane, and then there was the Michael Ryan shooting, and suddenly everybody rushes to the police station and hands in all the guns. And now the only people who've got the guns are the criminals and the cops. And the cops are getting very fucking fond of using them now that the average citizen hasn't got them, aren't they? Maybe they wouldn't be quite so keen if they didn't know whether somebody had got a gun or not.
So have you looked into Dunblane, Jason? Have you looked into Dunblane and Hungerford? Because I've seen, obviously, I've seen the mainstream media documentaries on both of them. I just wondered if you found any anomalies with them. I think the Hungerford thing for me was just, it naturally happened. And probably Dunblane came out of that as well. But, came out of the idea for Dunblane came out of that. I don't know. What do you think?
Yeah, I know it's been a while since I looked at it, but it did appear that there is some sort of cover-up going on with a Dunblane thing, some like a paedophile ring, it appears, that might have been getting covered up with that. The kids what got killed, being witnesses or potential witnesses to this, exposing this paedophile ring. But other than that, I don't know much detail. The other one, do you mean the plane crash?
Oh, no, with the Michael Ryan shooting in Hungerford. But if I could just jump in there, we actually tried to do an anniversary show for Dunblane, didn't we, Jason? Now,
yeah, that's right.
You put me in touch with a lady called Sandra Utley, who's written a book about Dunblane. I can thoroughly recommend it. I bought it, I've read it, and I would recommend it to anybody. It's called Dunblane Unburied, and that gives you a pretty good idea. It doesn't give you all the answers, but it gives you a good idea of how things were manipulated in that particular incident. But the strange thing is, I asked Sandra if she'd come on the show and talk to us, and she said, well, I've taken so much flack over the years that I'm not prepared to do any more until one of the families of the victims will stand up and demand truth or justice, or truth and justice. But she suggested perhaps there was a gentleman who'd come on and talk to us who'd been blogging about her work. I contacted the guy on Facebook, we messaged him, and yeah, he was going to come on the show a week later. Unfortunately, in between me contacting him and him coming on the show, he was found dead in very strange circumstances in his flat. So that really freaked the shit out of me when that happened, I'll tell you.
Yeah, it freaked the shit out of both of us, didn't it? Really, I mean, that was just incredible that we got in touch with him. We were going to be speaking about it, and then suddenly he's dead, and it's like you say, in strange circumstances. I mean, he wasn't exactly an old guy, was it?
No, I think he was only in his 40s. But the circumstances of his death, as described by the people that found him, were very, very strange. And I think around the time it happened, his mother died as well. She'd been ill for a long while, but with having two deaths in the family within a matter of a few days, it seemed that it maybe didn't get the attention it perhaps might have done, given different circumstances.
Wow. Well, you're listening to Raconteurs News on this Monday night, 26th of February. We're supposed to have Ollie Damagard was booked to join us tonight, but we've had to cancel that. And we've got a very capable deputy in Jason Green. He's the owner of the page False Flag and Media Hoaxers on Facebook. Find it, check it out. We've been talking all sorts of different stuff, haven't we, tonight? I mean, we've talked about the Florida shooting. We've talked about 9/11. We've talked about the Pentagon on 9/11. All the very interesting things and things that we keep revisiting on Raconteurs News, because I remember lots and lots of different information from years and years ago, and I do like to keep regurgitating it just in case there's somebody that's been into 9/11, been looking at some stuff, but it's very easy to miss a lot of the early days stuff. So we've been talking about that as well. Andy's joined me as well. He's producing for me tonight, but he's also presenting as well, it's like being back in the old days, mate. It's been like being back in the old days. It's been really, really, really good.
Jason,
I've really enjoyed you being along.
I can honestly say there is no beginning to my talents.
Well, while we prepare for Snowmageddon, it's going to be snowing. I got this vision in my mind of, you know, where on the Superman, the original Superman film, and he goes up and he flies. There's a fire somewhere, and he goes up and he flies to this lake, and he blows on this lake, and it freezes the top of it, and he picks up the ice off the top and then goes and drops it on this fire that's going off. I had that vision of Vladimir Putin blowing towards us, you know, the beast from the east. So I've got that in my mind. It's just incredible that they can even the weather is fault. So it's, you know, it's not just referendi or referenda, whatever you want to call it, referendums, elections or whatever, that he can manipulate. He can also manipulate the weather and drop a great big snow bomb on us.
Yeah, I did see a very funny video online today. It was about the no to Brexit bus thing that's going round, and it turned up in Durham, and he basically parked in the middle of the market square there, and he got booed out of the place. They told him to clear off.
Who's that? Sorry.
The bus that's kind of should we have a rethink about Brexit because it's going to cost us £2,000 million and all that shit.
Oh well, fucking bollocks. I saw this is quite funny, but on the M1, when you come off the M1 for junction 32, which is what I come off at, there's a sign that somebody's put on right on the roundabout, just as you on your left hand side. So as you're coming off onto Parkway, you'll know where I mean, don't you, Jason?
Yeah.
Coming up M1 onto Parkway, and there's a sign that somebody put up that said, "Brexit will make you poor," and somebody had put a sign underneath saying, "I'm already fucking poor."
It's about right, though, isn't it?
It's all gone fucking nuts, hasn't it? It's all gone nuts. What's going on in the chat room? Let's have a look. The soldiers would turn against us. That was Super Leeds. He says that. I think that's about us dragging the fuckers out. Dinny's put yes. Fuck soldiers. Fuck soldiers too. Fucking idiots. They are killing children. Dinny, we don't like you sitting on the fence, mate. Can you be a little bit more specific on what your views are? And Super League has put, I know, Dinny, I'm not disagreeing. I just don't think they would turn against us.
I see Webby's put in there that he had the same thing with Max Spears, due to meet him for a chat and couldn't make it, and then they were going to rearrange. Next thing, he's dead. It's pretty surreal that when that happens. Yeah, Paul, I remember you telling me you'd got a meeting arranged with Max Spears. So, did you ever come across that story, Jason? Very strange one. He was one of Miles Johnson's interviewees. Had a very strange story to tell, and he went over to this conference in Poland and was doing some talking there, and next thing you know, he's got black goo coming out of every orifice, and he's brown bread. No, it was quite a strange one.
There were quite a few articles in mainstream media, weren't they? In Guardian and in the Daily Mail about him, about Max Spears, Spears, whatever his name is.
Oh yeah,
but yeah, he'd spoke. I think he'd spoken to his mother the day before.
Yeah, he was one of them super soldier people who making the claims that there's some kind of super soldier in another dimension or something like that. It's quite weird stuff. I've watched quite a few of the interviews, and I don't know, there's a lot of shit going on that we don't know about, but some of that stuff just does seem a little bit delusional to me. I mean, I've been having a look at that stuff with Corey Good and the secret space program. I think they have got a secret space program, but I think he's just put out there to throw people off the scent, because there is nothing that's provable in his story. There's no element of proof with any of this. It's just believe me. And it's leading people down this monetized channel with the new age Gaiam TV bullshit. And I just think it's a big dead end for people. There's so many out there that are just dead ends. You've got to be really careful. Some of the websites some of the websites I see people sharing on social media, and I think, fucking hell, are people still looking at that? Like that, Your Newswire. I mean,
yeah.
Oh. richallen.co.uk. People still looking at this. What's wrong with you?
No, you can't kick a man when he's down. He's had his YouTube channel took down, so maybe we'll have people coming to us because they feel sorry for us after ours gets took down.
Yeah, well, I don't think ours is going to get taken down. To be perfectly fair, right? I have told you all along that I'm protected, so I might not have a big audience, but I'm protected, so we'll be okay with that. I'm pretty sure.
Oh,
but,
Jason,
with the
You're going to be having some serious rumours going around Facebook now, dude.
best place for them. It's Rumourville, isn't it? Facebook. It's don't do your head in. Super Leeds has said Richie blocked me because I abused him for being a Man U fan. Well, that's understandable. Anybody can be abused for being a Man U fan, especially even from Manchester. He's Irish, isn't he? So
I do remember. I do remember one of our previous guests asking us to work in cooperation with Richie Allen, which we fully agreed to. Emailed Richie Allen to arrange the details. Never got a response.
No, you're not going to, mate. You're not going to. I mean, we spoke with Webby. Webby's a regular contributor to Raconteurs News, a friend of the show, and on all often. And he's said that he's tried to make contact with Richie Allen, and he hasn't. So he's not been able to on many mediums. So look.
Well, Dinny says he's from Waterford, so perhaps if you're Irish, you would understand that, and it explains it quite clearly.
Yeah, that's the Crystal place, isn't it, Waterford? It's to make the crystal.
Oh, right, yeah. I suppose it must be, yeah.
Yeah, there you go, Crystal. He's from Waterford, Crystal. Yeah, brilliant. Brilliant. We've got a vibrant chat room. Go on, Andy, what were you going to say?
It's gone. Completely gone out of my head, mate. Yeah, I'm pleased to see that it seems that everybody's got into the new chat room. So as of next week, I'll be deleting the old chat room. And for those of you who've not given us your email on the site, we have now got a feature in operation where every Monday we'll send you email for what shows we've got coming up that week. So if you're not on social media, you can at least just have a reminder of when we're on, because I know a lot of people say, oh shit, I forgot, and it gets a bit difficult trying to message all your listeners on Skype to tell them when we're on, particularly if you don't know who's listening. So hope you'll find that service useful. Just go to the register. I know people hate that word, register. We're not giving anything to the Crown. All we need is your email so we can send you an email. We won't sell it to anybody. We're not about that sort of thing. We're just about providing this service that we do. And if folks enjoy it, more's the better.
More's the better. Well, it's going to be good for people. Yeah, did that go out tonight? The emails tonight, because you did say to me that you were earlier that you were trying to get the email set up so that it would go out of about 5:20. It
went out at 5:15, bang on the dot, because I saw mine arrive. So if it's yours, it might have gone in the spam filter or something like that. So if anybody's listening who was expecting an email and they haven't got it, just check your spam filters, please, because it might have got sent there.
Well, it seems everything you type gets marked as spam, doesn't it, Andy? Even on my Facebook page.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we've got about 20 minutes left. So what are us three boys? Two boys from Sheffield and one from Boston in Lincolnshire. What are we going to talk about for this last sort of 15-20 minutes? What should we talk about? Any ideas? Any subjects that you want to cover?
What came to mind when you were mentioning space and things was one recent possibly media hoax without them sending the Tesla car into space. What do you reckon to that?
Oh, yeah.
Well, Leeds, listen, Super Leeds is going to love this. But, well, go on, Andy. I don't know who to go first. It's just
it was brilliant because we actually, Jason brought that up with Neil Sanders, and I actually brought it up with Neil before the show, and he virtually snapped my head off when I said, what do you think about this Elon Musk bollocks? And I thought, what? That's not like Neil that I know. And then just when Jason brought it up on the show again, he made his point, and I thought, wow, I don't recognise this guy. It was really strange. I mean, we all have.
So I think he believes they did send a car.
Yeah.
Into space. Yeah.
Mm.
Oh, fair enough. A lot of people do, don't they?
Plastic trim. It was just a car.
Yeah.
It was this. He said it was a standard car, right? So the wheels were inflated. That's not going to happen, is it? In a vacuum of space, it's not. That's not going to last.
Yeah. Oh, the argument here, it must be true because it looks so fake, and that was something that Neil brought up, I believe.
And it was the one thing that really pissed me off about it was that car belonged to a Raconteurs News listener. Simply, it's his car, and it's gone into space, and he's fucking he can't do it with it now. He's not got a. It's a Tesla, isn't it? So he's not got a cable long enough to plug it in.
Bless him. Oh, well, he got
it's the most ridiculous thing that I think I've ever seen. It's like, you know what it's like? It's like Elon Musk has just gone on fucking TV and just said, right, you fuckers are so fucking thick that you're going to buy this fucking CGI thing that I'm going to show you now, and you're going to think that it's real, because what it does is it maintains your religion. It sort of it justifies your religion, which is science. You know, when they say it's science, that's just fucking religion.
Yeah.
That's all it is. He's just gone. Elon Musk has just gone, right, you know what? You think you're so fucking clever. You got all your little fucking bits of paper. You do all your little silly fucking equations. I'm going to show you this, and you're going to fucking believe it. That's how thick you are. Right, and that's what's happened, because people cannot get themselves away from the religion of science. Fucking Brian Cox. Look at Brian Cox. Can't explain a fucking thing, yet he gets fucking paid fortunes.
But
just
Dinny's made a good point there. It's made the news, and we're talking about it. That's just what they wanted. Who gives a fuck? I mean, to me, you've got to just kind of throw them people to the side and just forget about them. Just forget they fucking exist. They're not worth wasting your breath on.
I disagree. Do you know why I disagree? Because people see this sort of thing in just like headlines on things, you know, a headline on a newspaper, and they just see these things and they think that they're actually fucking real. We aren't even having a look.
Yeah.
Right? They think that they're actually real, and they get. So I think that us pointing out and saying, because, you know, when someone's, if I were talking to somebody and they said, oh, I don't know this and this, and I just said, just please, dude, have a look at it. Yeah. Just have a look at it. And the first thing that came out about it was Elon Musk proves the Earth is round and not flat. It didn't prove fuck all. It just proved he got a fucking CGI. I don't care whether fucking Earth's round or fucking flat. I don't give a fuck. It doesn't fucking matter to me. But that, you telling me that's fucking proof when he's made a cartoon. That's all he's done. He's made a cartoon.
Yeah.
Yeah, good point. That was the first thing I saw that somebody, I didn't even know they'd sent this guy into space until I saw like a photograph saying this proves that the Earth is round, sort of thing.
Yeah, but when
and I'm like, I'm happy that the world's just, you know, a ball. Right? You know what I mean? But I said it don't prove it at all because it looks like a cartoon. And then that, you know, creates an argument. I start getting called a flat earther then because I didn't believe that, you know, this story about a car in space, and, you know, it's how, yeah, they're clever at what they do. They'll get us far, you know, we're out there.
All I thought when I first saw it was just somebody had really badly photoshopped this fucking meme on Facebook and just trying to make some daft point about flat Earth, and I just Thought, yeah, well, obviously, I actually thought that was a pro-flat Earth post because it was obviously badly done. And like you say, it looked like a cartoon. And I thought, oh, yeah, flat Earth meme, just next. And didn't even look at it.
Yeah.
And then when Jason told me it was actually real, I was just, what?
You've got to look at all sorts of things, haven't you? First of all, it's plastic trim. This is a standard car. It's got plastic trim. Now, you're going from temperatures between 250 degrees centigrade to minus 250 degrees centigrade in no time. That fucking plastic is not fucking stopping there. It's not. It's going to crack up. It's going to burn. It's going to do something. Those inflated tyres, against the gravity of space, just look what the vacuum of space. Just look what happens to anything that's got air in it in a vacuum. It fucking goes to
yeah,
exploding point. You've got no chance with fucking regular rubber tyres. But yet you get these fucking idiots, and they'll go, "Oh, it's science," and they can explain something because, oh, you know why it didn't burn up in sun? Why? Well, I've got this fucking equation here. It's just like just a bunch of fucking squiggles and that. You're not going to be able to understand it. You know why? Because you've not been to the fucking indoctrination place and had all them fucking squiggles put in your head as actual fucking mathematical things. So you're not going to get it. But I can do these squiggles, and then I'll say I claim the fucking that's the truth because you can't fucking debunk me. You know why I can't fucking debunk you? Because don't give a fuck all them fucking squiggles. Look at it. For God fucking sake. Look at it. And it's just like you can't get through these fucking idiots that are like, well, science proves this and that and the other. Yeah, well, it doesn't, does it? It don't prove fuck all. Science proves fuck all. What actually fucking proves things is things that actually happen. Like, you know, when they'll say, oh, science proves that the Twin Towers didn't collapse or weren't controlled demolitions or weren't... Whatever fucking thing that you've got, there'll be some cunt who'll stand there and go, fucking science, yada, 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 blah, 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 fucking blah, fucking sucking Brian Cox's fucking cock, just simply because you think that that's what everyone else wants to think. And you think that that's intellectual, and it's not. The intellectual thing to do is to think about it and think, actually, did that really fucking happen? Or is some cunt taking piss? Because it looks to me like some cunt's taking fucking piss. And that's what they're doing all the time. Every single... When Sky News, when it does its on the hour news, right, the headlines might as well be, you fuckers are so thick that you're going to fucking buy all this shit that we're just about to tell you. You're going to buy it all, and you're going to think, not only are you going to buy it, but you're actually going to think that it's important. You know why you're going to think it's important? Because it's on the start of the news, and you are indoctrinated to this thing that you're watching us on has become an authority figure, and it has become an authority figure. Look at how many. I look at we got Netflix, and we've got all sorts of different ways to consume media, but yet we sit and watch the shit that they're fucking telling us to watch. They're spouting out. That's most of the time. That's what you're doing. You're watching the stuff that's on the telly, the stuff that they're telling you to fucking watch.
Yeah,
you're not doing it. You're not thinking for yourself. This is what we need to get out of and fucking get away from being indoctrinated and being told, listen, you're so fucking thick, you're going to fucking believe this. And then when you point it out to somebody and you say, actually, look at that there. Once they're invested in it, there's no coming back. There's no coming back from being invested in it. You can't say to them, right, you can't say to somebody, you know that story you're talking about, right? And if you put it like this, you say, what Sky News is telling you is that you're so thick that you're going to believe it. Who wants to do that? Who wants to be told that they're thick? Nobody. So they're going to be fucking. They're going to be against you anyway. So we've lost unless we fucking grow up and say, actually, you know what? I'm fucking wrong about this. I'm actually wrong about this specific issue. This specific thing, I'm wrong about it. Unless we can do that, grow up and do that, we're not going anywhere.
Yeah. Yeah, because this space thing again, I mean, a few years ago, I was in the mind that technology was way beyond what we were told it was, like they'd show us a space station drifting about in a metal box. But it was like, at the same time, we led to believe they'd got colonies on the moon and Mars who were mining and stuff. And now, all of a sudden, people can't believe we can even get out of this atmosphere. So I don't know where I stand on it now, to be honest. I don't know what to think.
But there's an in-between, isn't there? There's an in-between, though, Jason. That's the thing, is what this, like we were talking about before with Divide and Conquer, in the independent media, there's also this divide and conquer. So everything that's mainstream, you're told to just fucking get rid of. And everything that's independent, people are getting drawn to. But then there's the in-between, which is what I like to think that we come in on the in-between. We don't offer an opinion. I've not offered you an opinion on whether I think that the Earth's flat or whether we've been to the moon or anything. I've given you an opinion on the obvious things that I've seen, like the Elon Musk crap. But I like to think that we go in the middle. We don't go full your newswire, yada, 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 and we don't go mainstream media. I like to think that we're somewhere in the middle. Which I think is important. Whether we're wrong, if we're wrong, fine. It's not a problem. We can deal with being wrong, but we just like to just sort of not be completely one way and not completely the other. Well, we never go really mainstream, do we? I know, really.
But being open-minded, isn't it, to all things? I suppose it's the best way to be.
No, I mean, I mean. The normal thing with propaganda, you have to put some truth out there to make the lie palatable. But the way it seems to me it's going just lately, they're just watering down the truth bit of it. Because the stuff they're putting out there now is just more and more propagandized, and it's so fucking blatant. There's no pretense anymore.
Yeah, I think it's almost like they want... I mean, when they do these false flags and what have you, I'm sure they could do a better job and make them more convincing, but I think they like it, they actually put out information because they want us to, be arguing. They know that a majority of public will believe what they're told on news, but they also know that there'll be people, questioning it, doing critical thinking and, throw a few tidbits as well, because they'll know it'll create, divide and conquer again. So that's what I think. Anyway, do you agree with that? Do you think they make them ridiculous on purpose sometimes?
Seems that way to me, mate. Yeah, I mean that's one thing that Ole often says. I mean, it's a team that's going around doing these. That's becoming more and more apparent, isn't it? And he says they're just so sloppy. It's like they want to get caught.
Yeah, seems that way.
Well, it certainly does, and we're seeing more and more evidence every single time there is. That's their problem. If they want to keep pulling these things off, they're going to have to become a lot better than what they are at the moment. And at the moment, they're not really very good. If we go right back to the beginning of the show when we were talking about the Florida shooting, that David Hogg situation has seemed to have because they were legitimately people saying, just hang on a second. You know, the people that were perhaps weren't saying it before. And so that's caused quite a stir. And so anything else that they try and pull off, they know is going to be scrutinised, and particularly by the people that that this time around weren't quite as drawn into the illusion as they perhaps would have been before. And so they know that they're going to be massively scrutinised. So it's going to be very interesting. We were talking about March. What Ollie, didn't Ollie say March 18th?
4th and 18th, yeah.
March 18th. So we'll just have to keep his eye out on that. And with that, we are right.
Just as a slight correction to that, it was March the 5th in Houston or March the 18th in Dallas.
Dallas, right.
So,
and he said Parkland's Hospital, didn't he, as well, because that was where JFK was taken.
Yeah,
that will be part of it.
Hopefully we'll be able to get him back on or arrange to do a pre-record or something like that before then, but if not, we'll always get him on again soon anyway.
Well, you'll be up for coming on a pre-record, won't you, Jason?
Yeah.
If we get if we do if we're going to arrange it around everything, we'll do a pre-record, or even perhaps just do a live show in early morning or mid-morning or something. One day.
I work nights anyway, so yeah, I'll be up and about.
Yeah. We could get a chance. So we'll do that. We'll definitely do that anyway. So thanks very much for coming along, Jason, for covering very stoically for Ole Damagard.
Thank you.
Oh,
and
just before we
can't do
go,
his accent, but
Sorry, Jason. Just before we go, I'd like to mention Super Leeds is a great guy. He's easily the most prolific contributor in chat. But what I would say, he pops in the chat room now and again through the week. So, folks, if you're bored and just want to have a chat with somebody online and it's not all bollocks on Facebook, come on there and have a chat to one another. It's always open.
Yeah, brilliant. The Super Leads is always popping things in there, innit? I enjoy sometimes, because when I'm not on, I like to stay away from it all. So I don't really go on to. That's just not because I don't want to. It's just that I just want to have some time away from it, and because it can consume you. And to be fair, if I didn't do that, I don't think the last couple of months I'd have been able to do as many shows as I've been able to do. So, it's always good stuff on there. On Super Leads is always in there posting good stuff as well. So, get into the chat room. Right, tomorrow night, 27th, we got Max Egan's going to be joining me from 7 o'clock, so don't miss that. I'm still waiting for this time when I'm going to be able to get into the how I've solved the problem of too many species within the animal kingdom. But it's still up there on my board, so I will get into it at some point. But believe me, I've got it sorted. David Attenborough's he's going to be coming in his pants when he finds out what this is. It's just going to be so easy for him. Thank you very much for listening to us tonight. Yes, I know Super Leads Wednesday are on BBC One tomorrow night, but I'm committed to this show, so I'm going to be 7 till 9 here on Raconteurs News, and I'm going to catch the second half after I finish. So thanks for listening to us tonight. Thanks to Jason. Thanks to Andy. And we'll see you very soon.
Just before we go, I just got to say that's real dedication, Jason. Nice one, fellas. See you all.
Cheers, bye.
Brilliant, Chris.
decided to stage a jumble sale for the poor, for the poor. It's a waste of time if you know what they mean. Try shaking your box in front of the queen, 'cause her purse is fat and bursting at the seams. It's a waste of time if you know what they mean. Too many hands and too many pockets, not enough hands on heart. Too many ready to call it a day before the day starts. So you thought you'd like to see them healed. Got Blue Pete at the stage and appeal for the poor, for the poor. So you thought you'd like to see them healed. Got Blue Pete at the stage and appeal for the poor, for the poor. It's a waste of time if you know what they mean. Try shaking your box in front of the queen, 'cause her purse is fat and bursting at the seams. It's a waste of time if you know what they mean. A waste of time if you know what they mean. Try shaking your box in front of the queen, 'cause her purse is fat and bursting at the seams. It's a waste of time if you know what they